Hi everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we'll be talking about Saloon Tycoon. This is designed by Robert Couch and is published by Van Ryder Games.
Alright, this is the second edition of this game. So what's going on is you are basically a saloon owner. You are the owner of this business. What this game is all about is you're trying to build up your little section of town around your saloon in order to make sure that you are making the most amount of money by attracting the most amount of customers and the best customers. But guess what? If you're making that much money, you're also bound to attract some of the more nefarious characters in town. They're going to want to come to your saloon as well and hang out, which is no good. You don't want that. So it's a really nice balance of attracting customers to make money, but also not making too much money to attract the worst customers. All right, I'll give you a quick overview of how to play. All right, here's our setup for Saloon Tycoon. Every player is going to have their own player board, which kind of represents their saloon they start with, as well as all the places they're going to be able to build out into. You're going to get an income at the beginning of every turn based off of how many tiles you've built. So we already have a saloon starting there, so we're going to start with an income of 1. So let's go ahead and take our 1 income here and put it in our town there. And then you're going to get 1 action every turn, 1 tycoon action. So there could be a couple different things. You could just take 2 gold as your action. You could also take 2 of these tycoon cards, so let's draw a couple of those. That could be our action. So then our next turn, same thing. We take our income, and now we could actually use one of our tycoon cards for the action. They can do a lot of different things. Sometimes they provide resources. This particular one says, take 2 gold, plus a supply cube, plus play another card. This particular one says, take 2 tycoon actions. So there's basically a ton of different ways that you can use those tycoon cards, get actions, get resources, play additional things, move things around, move characters around, as we'll show you in a little bit. There's lots of different things that come from those tycoon cards. They're really, really strong. The next action you can take is you can build a tile. Once you've collected enough of the gold, you can build one of these tiles that are out here. These are all the different buildings that you can build. We have some common buildings over here. There's a bunch of them, so that way multiple players can buy them, such as the kitchen, the poker room, the laundry room, the guest room, things like that. But then we also have 8 kind of special rooms. There's only 1 of each of them. That would be the theater, the printing press, the luxury suite, things like that. Whenever you build one of those, first of all, there usually has some kind of a prerequisite, meaning they need to be in a certain location, or you have to have built something else ahead of time in order to prepare for them, and they're going to cost a little bit extra money than the normal tiles. However, they are going to come with one of the customers as well. So for instance, when you build a luxury suite in your town, you're going to get Widow Campbell. So these are all different characters that you are going to get as a result of building those certain special rooms. And also, each one of those is worth 5 victory points at the end of the game if you can hold on to them. Now, they are going to bounce around a little bit, but that's important because you might need certain characters in order to complete certain objectives. We have open claims over here, as well as secret claims that you were dealt at the beginning of the game. And they might say things like, you need certain characters or certain buildings, like this one needs the theater, Sidney Smythe, and having at least 10 gold in order to score that one. Or maybe they want just 3 outlaws. I'll show you those in a moment. Or maybe you want to have 2 roof tiles. Maybe this one particular says, have tiles in all lots along one side of your player board. So building out all the way to the edge here on one of your sides. Each one of those tiles is different. These open ones will kind of work similarly. It might say things like, you need to have the school teacher and a pantry in order to score a particular card. These are kind of a race. The first character, or the first player that can achieve all of those different open claims is going to be able to score it. This particular one says having 3 female characters. So if you're the first person to have 3 female characters in your saloon, you're going to be able to keep that card and score it. The last action that you can do is you can move characters around. You can bribe a character to move with 6 gold. And then maybe you want to do that because you have something like Phineas Pillbottom. This is one of the outlaws. He's actually going to make things cost more for you. Or maybe you have Flatfoot Fleming. She comes into your saloon if you ever have the first person to have 10 gold or more on your turn. And it's going to mess with your income. We have somebody like Moonshine Angie, who's going to make you play extra cards in order to do any of your tycoon actions. Or this is the Sidney Smythe. Sidney Smythe is basically going to go to the first person who does one of the claims. So this is going to be a kind of a negative point on someone who is doing well. So there's a little bit of a catch-up mechanism, but also a punishment. So later on, you're going to have an opportunity to either play a tycoon card to move someone around, or else you can bribe them with 6 gold. There's also some free actions. You can buy these supply cubes anytime for 2 gold per cube, and some cards will give you those as well. And what you're going to do is you're basically going to take those cubes, and you're going to build up a second layer. So for instance, on our saloon here, we might do this. Once all the available supply squares are filled up on a particular tile, that tile is considered to be finished. So now our saloon is finished, and we're going to get some kind of a reward. All right, so for instance, over here we have our billiards room. Now that we've finished building our saloon there, now we are able to build on top of it. So now we've got our billiard. Over here on the back, it shows us it's going to cost us 4 gold in order to buy that. So if we had the money, we'd pay that, buy this card. And over here in the bottom, it shows you what your reward's going to be once you finish that card. It also shows you in a smaller way down here. But again, once you have all 4 of those filled on a large tile, what you can do is you can start building up. And now you've got a 3-dimensional city going on top of those cubes. And same thing, once you finish that tile by building all of the cubes on its squares, you're going to get that reward as well. So you're going to want to build up, but you're also going to want to build out. There's victory points on the board out here. The further out you build, it is a little bit more expensive, but you're also going to get some points and more opportunities to build more things. If you ever have finished 3 things on top of each other, you're automatically going to get either a large or a small roof to put on top, and they're worth extra victory points. That's fantastic. So based off the number of players, at the beginning of the game, we counted out a number of those supply cubes, and those supply cubes are also going to be what triggers the end of the game. Once those run out, we're going to finish that round, and basically, we're going to count up all of our victory points. Victory points are going to come from various buildings that we've built, our roofs that we've gotten, our claims, both our secret and our open claims, as well as all of our characters. Remember that most of the characters are going to be, citizens, which are good, and they're worth 5 points apiece. But some of the citizens, like our Sydney Smythe, are going to be negative points at the end of the game. So you're going to count up all of your points, and whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins.
This game actually had a great reference card. I think after we learned the game the first time when we were playing, I don't think we referred to the rulebook once because everything we needed to know was just right there on one side or the other. So it was really quick, and I really liked that. It wasn't like this was a huge game and you needed like a 80-page rulebook, but it was still nice that once we learned it, we could just use that little paper whenever that little card whenever we had questions. So really nice reference card.
There was actually a lot of decisions to make in this game, more than I would have expected. So first of all, what are you going to build? And then where are you going to build it? Do you want to build it kind of out long ways? Do you want to build it tall? Do you want to try to go for, finishing off some of those goals? Do you want to attract characters? Do you want to try to move characters around? What are you trying to do? All the paths are viable. There's victory points no matter what you did, but at the same time, you had to lock in on it. You had to kind of excel at these various areas in order to maximize that strategy. But man, I had a great time kind of playing this multiple times and exploring different ways to play.
Yeah, and one of the things that I thought was really interesting about this game was the theme. So it's not like the Western theme hasn't been done before. It has. There's so many Western themes. But you're like either a rancher or a cowboy, or you're an outlaw, or trains. There's lots of trains in Western games. But this was really interesting because you're still in that world, but you're a business owner. It's not like you're trying to do anything. All those people, all those characters I just talked about, you're trying to serve those people. You are not those people. So I thought it was really cool to have the Western theme and those tropes and the cards and the buildings, but still, that's not what you're doing. You're a business owner trying to grow your business.
The form factor of this game was really interesting. It was really cool. You had these nice tiles. On top of that, you were kind of building these pillars, essentially, of the tiles. So you could put more tiles on top of them in a 3-dimensional way, but you could still kind of see underneath and see what those buildings were if you needed to reference those for any reason. But I liked having this 3-dimensional town that you're building as it grows up and up. I liked the gold nuggets. Those are really fun to play with and have on your board. That felt perfectly thematic with all of this. But also,
you feel like a child when you see those gold nuggets. It's just so silly. You're like, ooh!
I know. It felt like a good pan for gold or something. I don't know. It was great.
Yes.
And the artwork was fantastic. I don't know if you can see that. I'm not going to try to pronounce that artist's name, but it all came together in this really great package. This is a great table presence, both from the board and the art, components. Top notch.
So one thing that I did struggle with just a little bit were the outlaw cards, and I get them because what they're doing is they're creating a slight handicap or a catch-up mechanism. That's how I viewed them when they went to a character or went to a player. So I got that, but it's really difficult when you only get one action and you basically have to waste a turn getting rid of somebody. And I just felt like that was really harsh, and thematically I get it. Like, you've attracted this person to your business, it makes sense that you would have to pay them to send them away, but I almost wish that there was another mechanism, like they stayed there for 4 rounds, or I don't know. I'm sure they played it out a million times before they decided on that rule.
You're just salty about having to lose all that income.
It actually didn't affect me. I had a lot of buildings.
She was the Saloon Tycoon.
Yes. At least in like one of our games, I was like spread out super high. I did really well in that. But and I don't, like I said, I don't know if there's anything that could have been different. It was just like I wanted it to be different.
Yeah, I've played a lot of Western games, and this has got to be one of my favorites. It's just the way that the theme came together, the components, the table presence. This was a hit for me. This was so much fun. It felt, I got those Western vibes while still being kind of Euro-y and building up. I liked that. This was a unique mix of all that together. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it was definitely fun. If you ever get a chance to check it out, I definitely would. It was interesting and it was fun. Like Ryan said, you could build up, you solve that. I thought the theme was unique. I thought the actions were fun. So this is definitely one that I would look out for if I were you. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see our videos as they come out. Until then, you can find us in all of these places.
Guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.
Bye.